Chemistry classes in Queensland high schools have gone a little bit country. The new curriculum's designed to teach teenagers how to make, eat and appreciate cheese and encourage them to think about where their food comes from.
Are you winners? Yes! Are you grinners?
Yes!
Cheese!
Cheese!
This year, 15 Queensland high schools added cheese making to their curriculum. There was a bit of pride involved too, for the results would be eligible for the Royal Queensland Food and Wine Show's first ever student cheese competition. Regardless of who wins though, teachers say making cheese is a great way to enthuse students about chemistry.
Bringing real science into the classroom rather than teaching them abstract scientific concepts. Yeah, fabulous.
If you stop stirring for 10 seconds, you're going to denature the proteins and you're really going to make it difficult for yourself.
But before the teachers could teach, they had to go back to school themselves to learn how to do it. They were in good hands too, for showing them the ins and outs of curds and whey was Russell Smith, one of the country's top cheese judges.
I think it's got a great opportunity for kids to see how, one of the products, basic primary products, is produced.
From all the cheeses they could make, Russell Smith picked the famous French white mould cow's milk cheese, Camembert. Teachers expect the class to have value way beyond chemistry.
I think them actually getting to see something and the process that it goes through to get to the final stage and what they find in a supermarket is really good, it's really important.
Talking to some students years ago, asking them, younger students, not senior students, about where milk came from, and a young girl told me they came from seals. And she had no idea of them, a farm and cows, and the only reason she said seal was that because on the label of the milk it was Paul's Gold Seal Milk. And so for all those years she thought it was seal milk.
Facing this group on their return to the classroom would be many students unfamiliar with soft cheeses.
They'd probably think it's a bit of a shock. Doesn't come in a plastic wrapper. It's probably not worthwhile, but I think it's good to let them experience other tastes. It's education after all.
The milk has quite a good fat content for making cheeses, and then once they're properly warmed, you'll be putting them into your containers.
When cheesemaking day came round at Sandgate High in Brisbane, students were lucky enough to have Russell Smith overseeing proceedings.
I travel around the country, tasting cheeses and educating people about how to taste cheeses.
Mr Smith expects the age-old process to be a revelation.
Just that whole awakening of for people that don't understand the process and suddenly seeing here's the milk turning into cheese, You've got a bit more than 40 mil there, haven't you? Really? Just a little bit over. For me, cheese making is mostly science and a bit of art in there. I mean, it's the most successful cheesemakers really are artists as well.
Camembert's 8-week maturation is perfect for a term's work, and the mild, creamy taste just right for a teenage palate. There are many things that can go wrong making Camembert. Poor hygiene today will mean certain disaster down the track. It's not just one day's work either. For 8 weeks, the cheese must be stored at the right temperature and turned regularly.
Camembert, I think, is pretty sexy cheese, I think, really, and it's one of the most interesting to watch the maturation process, I think, because you're going from block of curd, doesn't look very interesting. In a couple of weeks, it has its white, fluffy mould, which looks really good. Then you wrap it, and then it becomes softer and softer over the next 4 or 6 weeks. So it really is a transformation.
Camembert, honestly, not really.
When we first were told that it was cheesemaking that we were doing this term, I was a bit sceptic. I didn't think it was anything to do with chemistry at all, but it's really interesting.
I thought cheese was just, milk. Done something to it. I didn't know it was moulds and all this, so it's sort of put a different spin on cheese. I mean, who doesn't want to make cheese for a day? It's like something you don't normally do.
Teachers judged the class a big success.
I think because it's something new for them and something that they've never had a go at before, the interest levels are there without me having to do much prompting.
8 weeks later, cheeses from around the state arrived at the RNA showgrounds in Brisbane for judging.
I expect to see cheeses that are much better than what we see on the shelves, actually.
Doing the spitting and assessing were some big guns from the dairy and food worlds.
It's better than we had so far. Flavour-wise, quite acceptable too.
Cheesemaker Uli Berger from King Island cheese fame was there, as was cookbook and television star Peter Howard.
You buy that in a supermarket?
Oh, you come home.
You'd never know it was made by school children. It's a beautiful, beautiful product.
The RNA was happy to support a project highlighting agriculture.
A little competition it may well be, but we feel as an awareness issue, this is crucial, and to bridge that gap between the bush and the city, this really establishes that bridge in a very firm fashion. And we're really excited about it. We think it's a fabulous event, probably one of the most important competitions we have this year.
One unfortunate school had a fridge breakdown, ruining their cheese. But apart from that, Uli Berger said the students had done well.
Texture is very nice. It's nicely cooked, so this one is a very good cheese, So comparing to up here, we had some. They might be just a little bit left too moist when they're making it.
To understand their decisions, the judges held a mini masterclass.
Get the nose on this, because this is starting to look really... It smells like camembert. It smells, it's got all that mushroomy and all that marvellous, marvellous nose.
Russell Smith was excited by the quality.
In the top 20 or 30 cheeses here, most small cheese makers, commercial makers, would be very pleased to be making that style of cheese. And